Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Show where, here we go! It's me, your man MG Marcus Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and Laquan Jones. I did it!
You did it.
Laquan didn't think I would actually do it to start the show, and I did it. I don't know what I win, but I did it. Here we are. We are into week 4. It kicks off. One more sleep until week 4 actually kicks off on Thursday night with the Cowboys and the Giants. We're going to preview the week 4 slate. Plus, we're going to give you our fantasy hot takes. I will say this. Now that we are 3+ weeks into the season, Laquan, do you feel like you know anything more about this season than you did, say, back in August?
Absolutely not. I've been wrong about a lot of things, but it's okay. I've been right about a couple. But this is how it works out when you start the season off like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we abolish tight ends? I mean, I know my answer, but I don't know what you think.
No. What is this whole like? Oh, if something is difficult, let's just get rid of it. Attitude like, oh, too highs, let's get rid of it. Like, tight ends are tough to predict. Let's get no. Like, if you have Brock Bowers, you're feeling good right now. If you have Dallas Goedert, if you had Trey McBride before you got there's options that are good at the position. Your job is to find those options and get them on your team.
Yeah, that is the whole goal. It's like if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. All right, let's get into though some fantasy headlines to start things off. Despite Antonio Pierce sort of tinkering with the idea of making a change at quarterback, the Raiders are sticking with Gardner Minshew. Florio, you mentioned Brock Bowers. If you have Brock Bowers or Devontae Adams, do you want maybe a quarterback change? Do you want Aiden O'Connell over Gardner Minshew?
I don't think so, but I also don't think it matters all that much. I dove into these two quarterbacks before the season, and last year, their quarterback rating, their completion percentage, their expected completion percentage, their air yards per attempt, and their EPA are almost identical. You would think they are the pointing Spider-Man gift. The only difference between the two is Gardner Minshew was more effective on the deep ball last season than AOC was. So I'm not. Maybe it'll lead to whenever we see a change, sometimes there's like that week where everyone's spirits are up. Maybe it'll lead to something like that. But besides that, no, I don't think it matters all that much.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a mid-off between these two.
Mid-off for sure.
It's a mid-off between these two quarterbacks, and maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Speaking of things that were mid that have gotten better, the Carolina Panthers offense, they were probably less than mid, I think, at the start of the season. But Laquan, Adam Thielen goes on injured reserve. He's out for at least the next 4 weeks. We know we want Deontay Johnson. Any other Panthers receivers beyond that interest you in Carolina?
Yeah, for sure. Xavier Legette, man, the rookie, man. I saw some things last week that I was just like, that's interesting. Like, he's a guy that can really create after the catch, but they're going to be asking a lot more of him, with Adam Thielen going to IR. They need that security blanket. He's a guy you can move around all of the offense. You could put him in motion, get him a running star off the line of scrimmage, and a lot what we saw last week, Andy Dalton's getting that ball out fast, so there could be a lot of catch-and-go passes to him to where he's able to get upfield and get those chunk yards. I'm talking 21 yards per reception last week, man. This dude can produce, with limited time because he's not a full-time wide receiver on that offense just yet. But with Adam Thielen out, he could be a guy that could be popping up a lot of people's radars in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and they talked about him in the draft, and I remember people sort of talked about his versatility, right? You can use him as a running back, you could use him as a wide receiver. We'll see how Dave Canales sort of works him into the offense going forward. I do think though, if you've got Deontay Johnson, it is very much to the moon, at least for the next couple of weeks. With Andy Dalton at quarterback there. Plus, it's a revenge game for Andy Dalton against the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's get into our Week 4 preview, starting with the Thursday night football game. It's the Cowboys and the Giants. You can see that game Thursday night, 8:20 p.m. Eastern on Prime Video. Florio, look, we know the big names, right? We're starting Dak and CeeDee Lamb. You're starting Malik Neighbors. You're probably starting Devin Singletary. Any under-the-radar options you see in this game?
If you're in a deep league, I think Jalen Tolbert could be on your radar in this one. 2 weeks ago, he had 9 targets, turned that into 82 yards. Last week, he had 5 targets, went for 42 and a touchdown. Brandon Cooks just kind of looks like he is at the end of his rope, I will say, to be nice. So Tolbert could be the number 2 wide receiver, and the Giants defense doesn't scare me away. This is a deep league play, but if you're in a deeper format, that is a name I like in this one.
I would also maybe throw Wan'Dale Robinson in there just because.
Yeah, that's your guy.
Volume of targets, man.
That's my guy. Love to hear his name.
Just volume of targets, man. Like, they're not deep targets, right? They're all going to be short throws. but just get him in space, let him work. He could have 8 to 10 targets in a game. He could get you, 7 or 8 catches. So in a PPR world that we live in, Wan'Dale Robinson, worth keeping an eye on for this one coming up this week. All right, over to the week 4 previews, I should say. We'll start with the Saints and the Falcons, big rivalry game in the NFC South. Laquan, would you dare start Darnell Mooney in this one?
I mean, if I had to go pick him up off of the waiver wire in the last couple of weeks, I kind of have to. Like with AJ Brown, Deebo Samuel, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, the list goes on. What wide receivers are injured, but it makes you sleep better at night, knowing that he has this chemistry with Kirk Cousins. He has this type of ability to get off the line and make himself available for Kirk Cousins, who's limited in the pocket. So therefore, Darnell Mooney, he's their deep threat. He's the only Falcon on the team that has more than one completion of 20+ yards. So there's some big playability here. So therefore, he's more suited as the team's wide receiver 2, because I know we go back to look at his time with Chicago as a wide receiver 1. It really didn't work out. It's more so he suits as a contributor for the offense rather than the guy where the offense functions through him. So Darnell Mooney, man, I'm really starting to like him more so every single week as a solid flex play.
I mean, more targets than Kyle Pitts so far.
Unfortunately.
Not what we expected, but he's producing.
We're still on the train. We still believe, though.
No, I'm not off the train, but at some point we also have to kind of pivot to what the reality is. And the reality is Darnell Mooney doesn't look like he's going anywhere in this Falcons offense after the first few weeks. Vikings at the Packers. Florio, the Vikings defense has been amazing so far this season. The Packers still holding out hope of Jordan Love playing. Maybe it's Malik Willis at quarterback for another week. Which Packers are you confident in starting against what has been a lights-out defense so far this year?
Yeah, we might have to have a quarterback conversation in Green Bay. Jordan Love's 0-1. Malik Willis is 2-0. I'm just saying. I like the wide receivers so much more if it's Jordan Love, because when it's Malik Willis, we know it is going to be a run fest. So Jaden Reed, for example, if it's Malik Willis, there's no chance that I want to start Jaden Reed against this defense. But if it's Jordan Love, especially Jordan Love maybe not at 100% mobility, we could get a lot of quick, short dump-offs. Josh Jacobs, I think, is a risky start, but someone that gets enough volume where you still have to start him. Emmanuel Wilson, though, is someone that I have picked up in a lot of leagues this week, and running backs in some of my teams are a nightmare. So I'm starting him because he outproduced Jacobs last week on the ground and through the air, caught a touchdown. I think could kind of carve out a nice role for himself moving forward potentially.
Yeah, and look, I think at this point, we know the guys that we really like in this offense. Jaden Reed's a guy that I think you can start fairly confidently because they're going to find ways to get the ball in his hands. Emmanuel Wilson kind of trying to carve out a role there, which I don't think any of us saw before the season. I think we all thought it was going to be Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to get on the field just yet, so we'll see what happens. But, man, the Vikings are a scary outfit, and if you have an opportunity to get away from them, I would get away from starting people against them. Maybe you can't, but I would not challenge them if I had other options. Steelers and the Colts. Florio rocking the Anthony Richardson shirt. It has not been great to start the season so far, Laquan. Would you sit him against a very good Steelers defense this week?
Yeah, he got to hit the bench, man. You do appreciate that he did take accountability last week for his QB play and the turnovers, but man, I don't see this game as a bounce back game for him at all, man. Like, he's on punishment on my teams. Like, he's hitting the bench. There's no tablet. You got to sit in the corner. You're on punishment, buddy. And I feel like I'm talking to one of my kids, like, this is just what it is. Like, I'd rather take my chances with a Sam Darnold, a Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, guys that I picked up off the waiver, because this train right now, it's not looking good for Anthony Richardson. And this Steelers defense is vicious, man.
Well, the one thing we had concerns about with Richardson coming into the league was him as a passer, and those concerns have been laid bare the first few weeks of the season. And as people have pointed out, he's not scrambling as much. Most of his runs are coming on designed runs. We were hoping he would take off and run. That hasn't been the case. So that sort of limited his rushing upside because, look, they're not going to – when you got Jonathan Taylor there, you're not going to design a ton of runs for your quarterback all the time.
I'd play the QB on the other side ahead of him this week.
Justin Fields, huh?
Yep.
I
think this is going to be Justin Fields' best run game of the season. So
all right. I'm not upset about that. Eagles and the Buccaneers. Look, AJ Brown probably out. Devonta Smith. I don't think either of those guys practiced on Wednesday. If Devonta Smith can't go, what now? Is it just the Dallas Goedert show, Florio, or is there somebody else in that passing game you'd like?
It's just the Dallas Goedert show, I think. Look, other people are going to have to step up, but we could have said that last week as well, and it didn't really translate into a whole bunch of production for anyone but Dallas Goedert. And that I know last week was a little bit lower scoring than we anticipated. He had 11 targets for Goddard. Devontae Smith had 10. Everyone else had 4 or fewer, and the 4 was Saquon Barkley. So that's what I think we get this week. I think we get a whole bunch of Saquon running. I think we get a lot of dump-offs to Saquon, and we get the passing attack will run through Dallas Goedert. Others can contribute, but I don't want to trust them for fantasy. But I'm still willing to trust Jalen Hurts because of what he can do with his legs. And I think we could see more scrambling in this one, like we wanted for Anthony Richardson. The fact that what he could do with his legs near the goal line and everything, I think it's just too hard to get away from him.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's sort of the thing that keeps him afloat, right? That's the reason he was, like the second or third quarterback off the board, depending on your league, because that rushing upside was going to be there. And I know the thing we've talked about, he doesn't look like he's quite as explosive as he has been in the past, but he's still running, he's finding holes, and then he will throw the ball, I think, effectively enough to his targets to make it worthwhile having him in your lineup. I mean, look, maybe you're in a league where you somehow have better options. I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it.
I doubt it.
I doubt it. All right. What I don't doubt, though, is that is now time for Is It In You, fueled by Gatorade. We talk about the guys we think are going to go big this week. Laquan, you got a guy who's looking for a bounce back here in week 4.
Yeah, CJ Stroud, man, is due for a layup matchup against this Jags defense, who are allowing the 3rd most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks right now. And, man, this Jags defense has looked horrendous, man. They're allowing top 10 right now, the first downs allowed this season. So it means more time on the field for CJ Stroud to be on the field to create these fantasy points. The Jags have 0 takeaways so far this season, very few sacks. So I'm thinking CJ Stroud should sit back there, cool, calm, and collected, even with the backup center right now, to where that pressure shouldn't be bothering him, till he can go out there and make the big plays to Tank Dells, to Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs.
I absolutely like C.J. Stroud this week. In fact, C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins was one of my top stacks of the week on NFL Fantasy Live for sure. Florio, your guy, you talk about liking Justin Fields. I'm assuming because of the rushing defense he's playing against. So why not like the guy who's his number 1 running back as well?
Yeah, and the one thing a lot of us thought coming into the season was like Arthur Smith likes to utilize 2 running backs. No, that has simply not been the case right now. Najee Harris has at least 17 carries, not touches, in every single game this year. Plus, he'll get a couple of targets through the air. Jalen Warren and Cordero Patterson are basically fighting for scraps because this is Najee Harris's backfield right now. And then you talk about the matchup. The Colts have allowed the 2nd most rushing yards this year. We saw Joe Mixon and Josh Jacobs each get over 150 rushing yards against them. And when the Steelers, if they have a lead, they are totally fine just grinding out the clock, running the ball, and feeding Najee Harris. So I think this is his best fantasy game of the year so far. And if you have Najee and you're not playing him in this matchup, why is he on your roster? Like, trade him or do something.
As someone who has Jalen Warren, I have a sad because now he's kind of banged up. And, don't know if he's going to be able to go this week, so we'll see. I'm going to stay with the running back position, though. I'm going to go with Devin Singletary, because you talk about bad run defenses. Hello, Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have been about as bad as it comes when it comes to stopping the run this year. They and the Raiders tied, allowing 5.4 yards per carry. Look, I'll admit, I didn't expect much out of Devin Singletary coming into this season, but I will also admit that he has played well so far for the Giants. He's run the ball effectively. They're throwing the ball to him out of the backfield. I mean, this is a guy that I liked during his time with the Buffalo Bills, but, he was splitting opportunities there with Zach Moss at the time. They just didn't seem to run any plays for him, especially down near the goal line. It just seemed like a bad situation for Singletary there in Buffalo, and he's going to an offense that was not nearly as good, but I will give him credit for having played well through the first 3 weeks. Now he has a great matchup on Thursday against the Dallas Cowboys. You absolutely, if you have him, try to find space for him in your lineup somewhere. There you go.
For sure. That defensive trash.
It is bad. They can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. That seems like a problem. I think Eddie
Lacy
off the couch right now could probably put
Eddie
up 100
Lacy
yards.
catching strays.
Ooh. Wow. On that
I'm
note,
just saying.
I got to reset my brain. It's time to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to preview some more of the Week 4 games, plus Sunday night, Monday night, and Monday night again. That's coming up on the NFL Fantasy Football Show. Digging into some of the most fantasy-relevant games in Week 4, we got the Commanders and the Cardinals. Now, we know that you can start passing games against the Washington Commanders. That has been pretty well established. But we saw Jaden Daniels go big on Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's had a couple of really big games so far in his career. So, Laquan, I'm going to ask you the question, is Jaden Daniels a must-start now if you have him?
Yeah, I think he's doing two important things. He's protecting the football and he's scoring fantasy points. I think all fantasy managers love that with their quarterback as dynamic as a Jaden Daniels. I mean, I know we watch that replay of that touchdown to Terry McLaurin at least 50 times since Monday night because, man, this is something that everybody was saying that he couldn't do. He couldn't throw the deep ball. He couldn't be accurate downfield. But, man, look at him putting the haters to bed and be able to stay in that pocket and take that shot. So every single week, I'm looking forward to putting Jaden Daniels in my starting lineups because right now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, if you ask me.
He's looked great. He's done everything that we would have hoped that he would have done. And now that he's going downfield and he's connected with Terry McLaurin, what's not to love about that? Side note about the Commanders, head coach Dan Quinn announced on Wednesday that Austin Eckler is out for Sunday's game as he is still in the concussion protocol. So it looks like a big Brian Robinson day for the Commanders.
Let's go.
I know that's your dude is B-Rob there, Jr.
Eckler looks so good every time he touches the ball, man. I'm not letting this go.
He really
I'm hanging on.
No, here's the thing. I think it's going to be split between the two of them all year long. But at least for this week, a lot of Brian Robinson with Austin Eckler ruled out already. Sunday Night Football, Bills and the Ravens. Florio, I could ask you about the Bills, but I'm not. I'm going to ask you instead, what are we doing with Mark Andrews at this point?
I have both Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely as starts this week. I'm giving them each one more week because I think there's a good chance the Ravens attack the Bills how they attack the Chiefs in week 1. The strength of the Bills defense is their cornerbacks. Christian Benford and Rasul Douglas are playing lights out right now. If they can limit or take away Zay Flowers, that leaves your tight ends there. And the weakness of the Bills defense is their linebackers. We saw Jonnu Smith eat 2 weeks ago, was the tight end 6 against them. Brenton Strange caught a touchdown against them on Monday Night Football. I think you have to give these guys one more week given the matchup and the state of the tight end position. If they don't deliver in this one and it's another game like last week, then we need to have a conversation about sitting these guys, maybe even dropping one or two of them. But yeah, right now, I think you want to hold tight.
I just want him to run more than 4 routes.
Yeah.
Is that too much to ask?
I don't get that.
I want him to play more than 33% of the snaps or whatever it is. I just want Mark Andrews to be on the field and living his best life, and that's not happening so far this season. No. 2 Monday night games again this week. The first one, the Titans at the Dolphins. This one's going to be a rock fight. People who love the law and sausage and Titans fantasy points should watch neither one of them being made. They're all look, man, we're going to look at Will Levis versus maybe Skylar Thompson or possibly Tim Boyle or maybe Snoop Huntley. Snoop Huntley?
Pro Bowler.
Basically what I'm saying, Laquan, is do we need to have a real conversation about Tyreek Hill at this point?
Oh, yeah, because I think we'll know rather soon what they're going to do at the quarterback position because there's no way they go back out there where there's a banged-up Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle, and we think that Snoop will get his licks as well, but the quarterback play ultimately as a whole is at a low-grade tier. I mean, right now, I don't feel comfortable putting Tyreek Hill in my starting lineups. This is where in the drafts over the summer, those mid to late round wide receivers that you hit on, you can just plug and play them instead of having Tyreek Hill go out there being a cardio king. Like, I feel like last week was just hard to watch. So, like, if you have a Khalil Shakir, if you have a Deontay Johnson, this is the time to go ahead and plug in those guys and, you know, hope that they can show up and show out. But right now, it is not looking good for Tyreek Hill managers. So that conversation is going to be tough.
What do you do with Tyreek, Florio? Because, like, I mean, do you trade him because Tua presumably comes back at some point? But it's hard to hold on to a guy, especially a guy that you might have spent a top 3 pick on Tyreek.
Yeah, you if you have Tyreek, I'm guessing you took him as one of the top 3 picks, and I don't know if I could pull him just yet. it's one game. We got to see what the quarterback situation looks like. I get that. But someone did hit me up on Twitter and were like, should I trade him for Malik Neighbors? And I was like, this depends on how risk averse you want to be. I would rather have Neighbors until Tua is back.
Yeah.
But once Tua is back, we know Tyreek Hill is arguably the best wide receiver in the world. So very much like your situation dictates what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on like your prospects too, right? If you're winning and you've got depth, then maybe you can work it out. But if you need wins, I think I would make a deal like that if one were offered.
Kind of have to.
Yeah. Second Monday night game, the Seahawks and the Lions. Whereas in the Titans Dolphins, it's going to be hard to find people that you're excited about starting. Seahawks Lions, Florio, is there anybody that you're not starting?
I have both quarterbacks I think are worth starting. The running backs are worth starting. Start them all. Start the receivers. Even like Tyler Lockett, I think, is someone that you can potentially pick up and throw in your lineup or something like that, because it's going to be an absolute score fest. These teams have played each other 3 times in the last 3 years. In those games, they have combined for 80 points, 93 points, and 68 points. This is going to be a shootout. It's going to be the funnest game of the week outside of maybe Cardinals Commanders, in my opinion. And it's Monday night, so that's even better. Anytime you have someone in your lineup on Monday night, you feel like you have a chance, especially in a game like this. And shout out to the NFL. I know some people don't like 2 Monday night games. Thank you so much for not making us have to lock in on Titans Dolphins for 3 hours on Monday night.
It is time for Hot Takes, presented by Frank's Red Hot. This is where we get spicy about things we think are going to happen in Week 4. And Laquan, so you warned us ahead of time about what your hot take was going to be, and I said I'm not going to look until we get to the end of the show. I'm looking. I don't think there's enough milk or horchata to wash down the spice of this hot take right here. So please hit us with it.
Listen, you guys know I love bringing the heat. It's Mr. Fire content only, and this one's hot. Daniel Jones will be a top 5 fantasy quarterback versus the Dallas Cowboys, and here's why. Obviously, that run defense is bad, but I think Daniel Jones is coming off some confidence, man. Things are starting to go right in New York with Malik Neighbors. Things are starting to click. This hitting on all cylinders. This will be the perfect game to go out there and break that 12-0 streak that Dak has and stuff it right in the Cowboys' face that the Giants are here, that Daniel Jones is going to be dropping dimes to Malik Neighbors in the end zone, and that run game is going to run through Daniel Jones and Devin Singletary. Giants get the dub. Top 5 fantasy quarterback, Daniel Jones, Week 4. Lock it.
If that happens, sports talk radio across the nation will be on fire. On fire on Friday morning, for sure. Florio, we talked about tight ends being invisible. Your hot take says maybe not so much this week.
I know I said I'm giving the Ravens guys one more chance this week. I think in the Bills-Ravens Sunday night football game, 3 different top 10 fantasy tight ends in Week 4 come from this game. One, I already talked about how the Ravens should attack this Bills defense. They should get the tight ends involved to pick on the Bills linebackers and avoid their cornerbacks. But on the other side, the Ravens have allowed the second most yards to tight ends this year, and Dalton Kincaid is just getting going. In Week 2, I know he had kind of a disappointing game, but that was because it was a blowout, and the Bills really were trying to get him the ball early on. Then we saw last week, not only does he catch a touchdown, he caught a long touchdown, and the top targets every week for Josh Allen as of late are Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid. So in a game where I think both offenses could kind of put up some points and push the other offense like we really haven't seen tested so far this year, 3 tight ends finish in your top 10.
All right. I love to see it, especially because I've got a couple of those tight ends, so I would be very, very happy with that. For me, Caleb Williams has a big game this week. I think he's going to give you 3 touchdowns. Now, maybe not all through the air. Laquan, earmuffs. The Rams secondary has struggled this year. We saw them get lit up by, we saw the Lions throw the ball effectively. We saw the 49ers, even in a loss, throw the ball effectively. I think Caleb Williams gets his biggest day to date against them. We saw him go for 363 last week in that game against the Indianapolis Colts. So I think he's going to really start to pick it up. Now, the protection's still an issue there. They can get pressure on him for sure, but I think he and Rome Odunze connect for a lot. I like Cole Kmet as a sleeper as well. Maybe he even gets us one on the ground. Hasn't done a lot of running yet, so maybe it happens coming up this week. But either way, I think Caleb Williams set to be in a lot of starting lineups, certainly Superflex leagues, maybe even in 14-team leagues as well.
One more onto the fight on.
Fight on +1. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing this week. Anyway, there you go. That is it. We are done. We appreciate you hanging out with the NFL Fantasy Football Show. You know the drill. Tell two friends to tell two friends. Rate, review, and remember, there's no other word for thesaurus. Be safe. Take care of yourselves. And we will talk to you tomorrow.